Now, CBS 47 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
We have breaking news at this hour. A suspect is shot and the streets in southwest Fresno are blocked off. We are live as officers examine the scene.
This is CBS 47 Eyewitness News at 11 in high definition.
The shooting happened around 9:30 tonight.
But details about the officer-involved shooting are just being released at this hour. The incident happened in the area of Kirk and Grove, that is near Elm and Jensen. CBS 47's Catherine Herr joins us live from the neighborhood with more. Catherine.
Lindsay and Ken, we have learned that one suspect is dead. 2 officers fired on the suspect. Those officers are okay. We're just getting some preliminary information at this point. We are still waiting for the official debrief from the police department. But as you mentioned, this all started around 9:30 tonight. The preliminary information is that 2 officers fired at a suspect here at a home on Kirk Avenue. The suspect was killed. The officers were not hurt. Neighbors say they heard about 8 gunshots. First, 3 small caliber rounds appeared to be fired, and then 5 louder gunshots in quick succession. This is a neighborhood that is known for crime and gang activity right here at Kirk and Grove. And in fact, we're only about 4 blocks away from Poppy and Grove, where police have placed a camera because there is so much crime in this area. Police Chief Jerry Dyer is here on scene. He is going through the scene of the officer-involved shooting at this point, and we expect to hear from him very soon. We will bring you more information as we get it later in this newscast. Live in Southwest Fresno, Catherine Herr, CBS 47. Eyewitness News.
Catherine, thank you for that. New at 11, a teacher at Central West High School was escorted off of campus today by sheriff's deputies after some bizarre behavior. He's the same man who confessed to killing a Fresno toddler back in 1996. Central West is located on McKinley and Dickinson in northwest Fresno. 44-year-old Stephen Diddy was working as a substitute teacher at the school. Sheriff's deputies were called to the campus this morning shortly after school started. The vice principal told deputies that Diddy was acting in a bizarre fashion and making strange comments in front of the students. Diddy was pulled out of the classroom and was waiting for the officers when the deputies arrived.
I'm not going to get into the actions or the statements he made in class, but no students were harmed. It doesn't appear that any of the students were in any danger.
Diddy was taken to Community Regional Medical Center for treatment. You might recall back in 1996, he made headlines while working for a local radio station when he took responsibility for the murder and kidnapping of 2-year-old Matthew Morby. He later recanted his statement and was taken to a mental hospital at that time.
Madera County jail officials are speaking out tonight after 5 inmates escaped last week. The escape happened Friday. The most dangerous of those inmates was being held on attempted murder charges for trying to kill a sheriff's deputy. Tonight, there are still many more questions than answers. For the first time since 5 inmates escaped from the Madera County jail, the corrections chief spoke about what happened, assuring the public all of the men are securely back in custody.
The inmates have been moved out of that housing unit where the escape took place, and they will not be housed back in there until it's rectified and corrected properly.
Although Perez wouldn't say how the 5 escaped, citing security concerns, we spoke with County Supervisor Tom Wheeler, who says the men burrowed through a wall into a common area and climbed out of a window.
They went through the wall into that room, and then they got the bars off somehow and then broke the window out.
Tonight, there are still a lot of unanswered questions officials say they can't address in order to protect their investigation. But people living nearby want to know how something like this could happen.
Where's the security? And where's the security for the community? You know, they didn't alert us.
Joel Moses was sitting outside that night, and he's pretty sure he saw 2 of the men running down his street in blue boxer shorts and white T-shirts.
Not totally flat out running, but they weren't at a slow jogging rate either.
4 of the escaped convicts didn't get far. Abel Ramos, Juan Lopez, Ricardo Sendejas, and Jorge Lopez Diaz all were caught on Saturday. And an anonymous Crime Stoppers tip helped catch the 5th man, Raul Solis, on Sunday in Fairmead. Supervisor Wheeler says there should be more information soon.
I guarantee you, after our board meeting tomorrow, we'll know what happened, how it happened, and how we can correct it.
Now, the corrections chief says all of the inmates housed in the area where the escape happened have been moved. He also says the shift is creating space issues, but they're dealing with it, quote, as best they can.
Lindsay, the U.S. has started carrying out airstrikes over Syria. It's part of President Obama's plan to stop the Islamic militants. Brooks Silva Braga has more on the mission.
The Pentagon says the airstrike started Monday evening against Islamic State militants, or ISIS. The U.S. and coalition partners used fighter jets, bombers, and Tomahawk missiles fired from nearby warships. Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral John Kirby says the military made the decision to strike early Monday. President Obama ordered an expanded military campaign nearly 2 weeks ago to disrupt and destroy ISIS. He said an international military coalition would participate.
Our objective is clear. We will degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL through a comprehensive and sustained counterterrorism strategy.
So far, no additional details are being provided because the mission is ongoing. The U.S. has carried out airstrikes over ISIS targets in Iraq for the past 6 weeks. Monday's action marks the first time the U.S. military launched attacks over Syria. The militants have killed thousands in Iraq and Syria and have beheaded Westerners, including 2 American journalists. President Obama will try to drum up more support at the United Nations later this week. Brooks Silva Braga for CBS News, the White House.
Back here, it has taken 8 days, but fire crews in Madera County have finally contained the Courtney fire. That fire has burned 320 acres and destroyed 30 homes. Crews are now working to mop up the blaze. As for the state's biggest fire, the King Fire, that has burned more than 87,000 acres. Nick Montanelli shows us how crews are making backup plans to keep the fire in check.
Right now, we're working on the contingency line. It's run along the Soda Springs Road up here.
Daryl Eves is creating the backup plan, a contingency line miles long, just in case the King Fire jumps around containment lines. He and his crew are cutting down dead trees because the dead ones are great fuel for fire.
We're looking for snags or anything that will readily catch if the fire does move this way.
And here's another part of the firefight you don't really see. Crews have cleared this area to set backfires if necessary. And on the other side of the road, the crews are taking all of it and chipping it away because they don't want all of this to become fuel if the fire gets to this point.
Right. We don't want to have all these fuels on this side in case we do burn.
The winds, the way that they're coming out of the southwest, they are pointing in the same direction as they were when this fire made that run.
Michael Williams works out of the North Command Post and says those contingency lines are not the only backup.
You don't want to just have a plan A, you want to have a backup plan and then a backup plan to that. And so what they're doing is they're extending out and trying to do some contingency planning just in case the fire was to pick up and get over these natural barriers.
Those natural barriers are plan A. The King Fire has narrowed itself between 2 reservoirs, and there's a lot of granite to the northeast that will not burn. Add to that, a fire burned on the northwest side about 10 years ago. So what you're seeing is a plan coming together. Barring heavy winds, this area should never see fire, but it's not work for nothing.
Everyone out here is important, no matter what their job out here. You know, we've all got to work as a team to stop the fire.
And that was Nick Montanelli reporting. Turning to weather now. Warm today.
Yeah.
Still a little bit warm.
Sounds like changes on the way, though. Yeah. Chief Meteorologist Scott Mace has the details.
Yes, and we began a new season tonight. So if change isn't coming, at least we can point at the calendar and say fall is here. But thankfully, some cooler temperatures will be here very soon. Tomorrow, I think it'll be hot again, dry again, and in Northern California, still very high fire danger where that King Fire is burning and all across the High Sierra. So we have a fire weather warning on for the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada, starting around the north end of Yosemite up through Lake Tahoe and the Shasta-Siskiyou as well. Through Wednesday, things will change after Wednesday. Temperatures currently in the 50s and 60s in the mountains and in the foothills, 70s up and down the valley. Modesto 72, Fresno 78, and Visalia at this hour 73. Winds are mainly light, below 10 miles per hour, but that will change. It will get breezy and cooler and perhaps a little bit wetter across central California as that next storm system sweeps through by the end of the week. For early tomorrow morning, we'll have clear skies, 66 at 7, 71 at 9, and noontime temperatures in the 80s. The full Pinpoint 7-day forecast is coming right up.
All right, thank you, Scott. We now have a new description of the suspect who brutally attacked a Fresno teacher. It happened earlier this month at Teague Elementary School at Polk and Gettysburg. She was attacked in a school bathroom, beaten, tied up, threatened with rape. The suspect also stole her jewelry and her cell phone. Investigators now describe the suspect as a dark-skinned Hispanic male in his late teens, perhaps early 20s, about 5'10" with a Spanish accent. They also say he rides a skateboard.
The investigators believe he probably resides in that neighborhood, so wherever skateboards ride in that neighborhood, he's probably going there.
Anyone with any information on this case is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. The number to dial is 498-STOP. Your tip could be worth up to $1,000 if it leads to a conviction.
Sheriff's deputies arrested a man for robbing a motel in western Fresno County. It happened Saturday at the Travel Lodge on Interstate 5 and Highway 198. 18-year-old Juan Carlos Piñones Salazar was taken into custody. The victim says a masked man came to the after-hours window, simulated a handgun, took cash, then took off on foot. Deputies soon linked the possible suspect with a nearby residence. Piñones Salazar was eventually arrested and later booked into the Fresno County Jail.
Your tips are making a difference. We have our Crime Stoppers arrest of the day. 32-year-old Lisa Flores was featured on Crime Stoppers. Fresno County Sheriff's deputies arrested her for buying or receiving a stolen vehicle or equipment. Meanwhile, law enforcement now looking for 27-year-old Bill Lee. He's wanted for receiving stolen property. Anyone with any information on his whereabouts is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. The number to dial is 498-STOP. And for more Crime Stoppers information and mugshots, go to our website, yourcentralvalley.com.
In Fresno County, about a dozen people appealed their medical marijuana fines today. Fresno County Board of Supervisors heard 12 cases. The county banned the growing of medical marijuana earlier this year. The fine, if caught, is $1,000 per plant. The reason for the appeal hearing was to determine whether the violations occurred and if the recipient was responsible. 15 more cases are expected to be heard at another meeting. And earlier for our web poll, we asked, do you agree with Fresno County's ban on the growth of medical marijuana? And here are those results. 34% say yes, while 66% say no. And we also have some viewer comments from our CBS 47 Facebook page. One writes, it will just lead to more people having to buy from illegal sources to meet their needs. While another writes, when someone has to grow an acre of personal medicinal pot, you gotta know they are very sick. Sarcasm intended. And another viewer writes, we all saw what prohibition did with alcohol. What makes marijuana so different? We invite you to join the conversation on our CBS 47 Facebook and Twitter pages.
In the Southland, a massive fire erupts in Los Angeles. Coming up next, it threatened a warehouse in the port of Los Angeles. We have an update on the damage there.
Plus, caught on camera, a mountain lion makes a mad dash through a neighborhood in Turlock.
Plus, in the Southland, an 11-pound baby is born on the way to the hospital. We're back in a little over a minute.
Eyewitness News thanks you for making the CBS 47 collection drive a huge success. We asked you to feed the Valley's hungry, and you donated, showing just how much our Valley cares. CBS 47, the Big Fresno Fair, the Salvation Army, Community Food Bank, and the CBS 47 partners, thank you.
I'm Scott Mace. Join me for the 21st annual Taste of Downtown Visalia, October 7th. Enjoy delicious food and live music. The Taste of Downtown Visalia. Visit downtownvisalia.com for tickets.
I wanted a Prius because I commute to work and I needed something that was going to be good with the mileage. My commute is from the Central Valley to Palo Alto, and I put on 1,000 miles a week, 5,000 miles a month. I have over 500,000 miles on a 2005 Toyota Prius. It's all good. So just think, I've been to the moon and back on Earth.
Make you happy.
Tonight, Dave kicks off the new season with Mark Harmon, plus Jack Hanna's Animals. Then, later this week, Ted Danson, Denzel Washington, and Jerry Seinfeld.
Eyewitness News is brought to you in part by Toy Hauler Liquidators. CBS 47 Eyewitness News with Lindsay Pena, Ken Malloy. Pinpoint weather with Scott Mace. CBS 47 Eyewitness News at 11 in high definition.
Take a look at this. A massive dock fire threatened warehouses in the port of Los Angeles tonight. That fire broke out just after 6:30 and was centered directly underneath one of the warehouses, which rests on pylons. A number of port workers were evacuated from the structure. There's no word yet on what caused the blaze. New at 11, up north in Turlock, a man's security cameras captured a very scary visitor in his neighborhood.
This is not your average house cat. In fact, it was a mountain lion. It was roaming around in a Turlock neighborhood. Homeowner Ken Moore says he was in the middle of doing some yard work when he heard police telling everyone to get inside.
And we heard the neighbor dog across the street just barking up a storm like I never heard it before. And then we turn and look down the street, and there's 2 cop cars down there going, "Get out of the street."
Fish and wildlife officials were not able to catch the large cat, so neighbors are still on the lookout for the big cats.
Well, Governor Jerry Brown will be speaking at the United Nations in New York tomorrow.
He is speaking out on climate change at a summit.
This state has a program to deal with carbon pollution, to encourage renewable energy, electric cars, efficient buildings, and appliances.
The governor is touting the efforts made here in California. The UN summit comes before an even bigger gathering of world leaders and scientists in Paris sometime next year. New at 11, talk about a special delivery.
A Los Angeles woman gave birth Saturday in her SUV. Baby Savannah weighed 11 pounds 6 ounces and was born to Sandra and Bolivar Vilches on the 91 freeway. Her father assisted in the birth as the couple's 3 other children were in the back seat of the family car. Paramedics arrived just in time to cut the umbilical cord. The mother and child are doing fine. It came as a big surprise to Sandra. She said the couple's other children all took their time.
Wow. Beautiful baby.
Yes.
11 pounds, a little bit on the large size.
Yeah.
But everybody's doing fine. That's all that counts.
Good that it happened quickly.
Get her over with. 11 pounds. Ouch. Still to come, fall has officially arrived, and the change of the season is actually good news for Valley drivers. We'll tell you prices could be dropping right after your pinpoint forecast.
And good news for us as well. Temperatures will be dropping, but not until later this week. I'll have details of exactly when coming right up.
Join CBS 47 and the American Heart Association.
October 4th at Chukchansky Park for the Heart Walk.
Bring the family and enjoy free food, prizes, and fun as you help fight heart disease and stroke.
Visit heartwalk.org to register.
Brought to you by the CBS 47 partners.
You get it. You love to get dirty, but clean up nice. You handle all the little twists and turns with confidence and poise. You get that feeling when you carve those turns, charge the hills to the Sierra. Yeah, but it's the way Honda performs 50,000, 100,000, heck, 200,000 miles down the road that tells you. It's got substance over style, and it's got hella style. So when your Central Valley Honda dealer has special offers on a new Honda, you know what to do. You get it.
CBS 47 wants all you big bad Raider fans for the Raider Nation Blood Drive. Saturday, October 18th in Fresno, Visalia and Sanger. Hey, big guy, it's just a little pinch. We'll even give you a free t-shirt and let you meet former Raider Tom Flores. Yeah, we'll hold your hand if you need it. Because your blood is what we need. More info at yourcentralvalley.com. Give blood October 18th with Central California Blood Center and CBS 47. Come on, it's just a little blood.
The real story behind Proposition 46? Start with the trial lawyers. They wrote and paid for Prop 46. Why? Pretty simple. To make millions from more medical lawsuits and higher jury awards. So who pays? The rest of us. As malpractice insurance increases, the cost of health care will rise for all of us. That's the real story. Those are the risks and why to vote no on Prop 46. Check the facts at noon46.com.
I was denied my Social Security disability claim, even though I can't work.
I'm so frustrated dealing with the government, and the last thing I want is some faceless lawyer
on the phone. I want personal attention.
Someone experienced
who knows our local legal system
and will fight for me.
For over 30 years, the law offices of Robert Ishikawa has successfully fought to get Valley residents the Social Security disability benefits they've earned and deserve. Call 432-9600. You're not alone in this fight.
Eyewitness News is brought to you in part by Fresno Lexus. Now your CBS 47 pinpoint weather forecast.
Fall officially began tonight in, of course, the skies over our head with the autumnal equinox that occurred at 7:29. So a new season arrived, and this is all because we're orbiting the sun, of course. And as we do so, the tilt of the Earth will change the way the sun's rays impact the surface. And during an equinox, the rays hit right over the equator. Then the Earth is kind of tilting away, so the sun will travel to the south. It will be southern hemisphere spring and then summer, and we head into into fall and, of course, winter. So the new season on the way and a change in temperatures as well. Right now, we're in the 70s, very comfortable. Wind from the northwest up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear and dry on live pinpoint Doppler radar. We'll stay that way tomorrow and for Wednesday. But here comes the next storm system, starting to look like a more classically formed winter type of mesocyclone across the Pacific, and that is headed our way. Of course, it's already formed up, so by the time it gets here, there just won't be much energy or moisture left. But look what happens in Northern California. That's Wednesday at noon. A little bit of rain up there, perhaps some thunder shower activity, and then it slides farther south. Of course, it gets wiped out by hitting the coast and the coastal mountains, but perhaps we'll get some lighter showers, maybe some thunderstorms, possibly even very high elevation snow showers or flurries Friday and Saturday as the bulk of this comes through. For the valley, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does mean cooler temperatures. Moderate to good air quality for tomorrow. That's great news. Lows in the 60s, highs tomorrow in the 90s. So I think we'll jump up a few degrees compared to what we had this afternoon. And that's just because high pressure is kind of building in ahead of that storm system. 62 for the low in Hanford, 95 in Hanford tomorrow. And we'll be back at the end of the program to bring you more. We have a special press conference right now. Let's pitch it over to Ken and Lindsay and see what's going on.
Okay, thank you, Scott. We're going to recap our top story. Police Chief Jerry Dyer now speaking out about a deadly officer-involved shooting in Fresno. Let's listen in.
Utilized or a post on a chain link fence. When the officers made contact, this individual advanced towards them. One of the officers utilized the less lethal shotgun. Actually fired several rounds at him to get him to stop advancing on the officers. He also utilized a taser. However, neither the taser nor the less lethal shotgun was able to prevent him from advancing. And at some point, the other two officers, a sergeant and an officer, felt their life were threatened, and they fired their department handguns at the individual. Unfortunately, he was struck several times by the gunfire and fell to the ground. There was attempts by the officers to resuscitate him, and they utilized CPR on him, but unfortunately he was pronounced deceased at the scene. We have had prior contacts with this individual on a number of occasions for domestic violence as well as threats that he has made, and again, unfortunately tonight his advancements on the officers place their lives in danger, and they did what they felt they needed to do.
Had the suspect violated the restraining order? Did the victim in that case live at this house?
No, the victim was not living here. The victim was at another location. The information that we had received tonight regarding the violation of the restraining order came from the Sheriff's Department, who was conducting an investigation. We were here to assist them in terms of going out after this individual for the purpose of arresting him.
So deputies were also here?
Deputies were not on scene. They were at another location asking for us to assist at this location by taking this individual into custody.
And again, you were saying that this is a man who had violated his restraining order?
It was a suspect who was in violation of a restraining order. That restraining order was as a result of a domestic violence case. And tonight he resisted the officer's attempts to take him into custody. The individual's 36 years of age, and again, he's had several prior contacts with law enforcement, not only for domestic violence, but some other threats that he had made, and our officers, in fact, have had contact with him yesterday, explaining the parameters of the restraining order to make sure that he didn't violate it. Unfortunately, he did.
Were any of those previous threats directed at officers, or were they all directed at...
Okay, that was Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer talking about tonight's officer-involved shooting. Of course, we will have much more information on this case coming up on later editions of CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
We'll be right back with sports.
You can find great things at Fresno Rescue Mission, Thrift Store, and Cars. You can't beat the prices and selection, and the proceeds support our ministry. Fresno Rescue Mission, Christ-focused, community strong.
For more information on this business, go to yourcentralvalley.com and click on Central Valley Local. Savvy shoppers know the best values are found at outlet stores and malls. But did you know you can find the best value in a used car or truck at the Used Car Superstore right here at Lithia Nissan Hyundai of Fresno? With the largest pre-owned selection of nearly every make and model available, you'll find lots of cars under $10,000, even cars under $5,000. The Used Car Superstore is literally a vehicle outlet store, and second chance financing is our specialty. So there's never been a better time to buy your next pre-owned car or truck at the Used Car Superstore at Lithia Nissan Hyundai of Fresno, located on Blackstone between Bullard and Barstow.
I've been representing motorcycle victims for most of my life, and I know if you get hit, you need legal representation. When it comes to motorcycle wrecks, I know what I'm talking about. I'm attorney Tom Dunyan. Call me. It's just that easy.
Energy House Calls is on a mission to help families across California live comfortably and save money. Families like the Escares, who performed energy upgrades throughout their home, replaced old appliances and installed LED lighting. You too can save energy every month and qualify for valuable rebates. To find tips on how to lower your energy bill and to learn more about all of PG&E's energy-saving programs, visit pge.com/energyhousecalls today.
TLX from Acura. Visit your Northern California Acura dealer for attractive offers on the TLX.
My name's Maddie Cruz Thompson, and I'm an FPU graduate. Being a first-generation Hispanic, I'm the first one to complete college, and I want to set that example for the rest of my family. FPU really empowered me to accomplish those goals. As soon as I walked in Fresno Pacific University, it just felt right. Something about this place made me feel like I was at home, so I thought I'd give it a chance, and the best decision I've ever made. Fresno Pacific University, empowering leaders, transforming lives.
Eyewitness News is brought to you in part by Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino. Now, Sports Central, presented by Table Mountain Casino.
For the 5th straight week, heading into Friday's game at New Mexico, head coach Tim DeRuyter is keeping mum on the quarterback situation, saying they won't name a starter until game time.
All three, flashed. All three had some issues. It's likely not to be set in stone the entire season. I hope it is, but it's something that we're going to continually evaluate. We'll play Friday, and we'll announce it then, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully our starter will play like he deserves to be the starter, and we'll go from there.
Even though the Bulldog offense put things together later in the game against the Thunderbirds, Fresno State is still without a touchdown in the first quarter.
We just got to get more efficient. We didn't block on the perimeter particularly well in that first quarter. We got to do a better job of doing that.
On defense, Coach DeRuyter and safety Deron Smith said that they made some strides on Saturday, but the defense still gave up too many big plays.
Other teams, they practice just like we do, so they're going to make some plays, but as a defense, we definitely got to limit those.
I thought we really played the run well. I was pleased with that. I was pleased with the way we took the ball away. I thought we played with a ton of energy, but you can't give up plays where they're throwing the ball over your head or you're falling down on a simple slant play. And so we've either got to, get different personnel or, change the way we call the game if we can't get guys to execute our defense.
As for New Mexico, they've got a lot of weapons. While Fresno State has 2, possibly 3 quarterbacks in the mix, so do the Lobos, and they have a running back who actually threw a touchdown last weekend. So they have different schemes and personnel groups that they can throw at Fresno State.
They know their X's and O's, and you can see them gaining advantages for their players. And if you don't adjust, they can bloody your nose.
The game in Albuquerque will be the first of 4 straight Friday games for the Bulldogs. Kickoff will be at 5 o'clock, and our own Andrew Martin will be headed to New Mexico, and we'll have coverage throughout the week. At Bulldog Stadium, I'm Amy Gill for Sports Central.
Well, still to come, officers are gathered in a neighborhood in southwest Fresno after a suspect is shot. We will have a live update from Catherine Herr right after the break.
At America's Tire, we're not just about tires, we're about people. We take pride in getting you the right tire at the lowest price for your vehicle. And right now, get a $70 Visa prepaid card when you buy any set of 4 Michelin tires.
Human trafficking is a modern-day form of slavery. Victims are forced or coerced to provide labor or commercial sexual services. Human trafficking is a serious crime. Assistance is available for victims regardless of legal status. Make it stop. Take notice. Take action. Make the call. For information, call Centro La Familia Advocacy Services at 877-294-3772. If you or someone you know is working against their will, call the confidential hotline at 888-373-7888.
For 37 years, America's iconic pickup. Built Ford tough. The F-150.
Here's your Keller deal.
It's Truck Month at Keller Ford Lincoln. Buy a new 2014 Ford F-150 STX Crew Cab and get $10,000 off MSRP. At Keller Ford, now in a new state-of-the-art Ford Lincoln store.
It's the only design of its kind in California.
On Highway 198 and 11th, down Cadillac Lane, Hanford.
I like to engage the entire student in the learning process.
I want to make them see what they're studying is very relevant.
I like to see learning actually happen in the classroom, engaging the student with all their senses.
I know for a fact that every single one of my students will have problems down the road, and I want to give them tools to be able to deal with those issues.
Excellence and passion for being a difference maker goes hand in hand.
I was on my way home after a long day of nannying when my car went kaput, dead as a doornail, right in front of someone's driveway. So I thought I'd look for help, and would you believe it? The guy answers like a shining beacon of light.
Oh, sorry. I manage a Les Schwab here in town. I'd be happy to take a look.
Within 10 minutes, I had a new battery cable and was whistling on my way home. He wouldn't take any money, but I think I'll bake him some cookies. I'm Hillary Plock, and that's my Les Schwab story.
Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Eyewitness News is brought to you in part by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Southwest Fresno. Police investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting in the area of Elm and Jensen. CBS 47's Catherine Hurd joins us live once again with another update. Catherine.
Well, Ken, we have learned more about this officer-involved shooting out here that claimed the life of a 36-year-old man. The suspect was here at a home on Kirk Avenue where he'd been staying. Officers came to look for him. He was wanted for violating a restraining order on domestic violence. 3 officers approached the man at the home here in the backyard. They say that he had a 4-foot metal fence post and was swinging that at the officers. The first officer fired less lethal rounds, beanbags, at the suspect. That didn't have any effect. So he hit him with a taser. That had no effect either. The man kept coming towards the officers, and 2 officers opened fire, striking him and killing him. They say that the man had cut a 5-gallon bucket and was wearing that over his torso, almost like makeshift body armor, that may have made the less lethal rounds less powerful. But again, we have 1 suspect dead here. 2 officers who were involved in this shooting, they were not hurt. Police are expected to be here at Kirk and Grove for several more hours. Streets in this area are shut down. We're live in Southwest Fresno. Catherine Hurd, CBS 47, Eyewitness News.
Catherine, thank you much. We'll have more on that tomorrow morning.
Okay, so warm day tomorrow and for Wednesday, then it finally cools off Thursday and Friday. We get the fall weather at the end of the week with temperatures in the 80s.
Okay, thank you, Scott. That'll do it for this edition of Eyewitness News at 11.
Good.
Eyewitness News is on air, online, on your tablet, and on your smartphone. Take Eyewitness News wherever you go and share your stories with us on Facebook, Twitter, and on yourcentralvalley.com.